Hello, my name is Sean Wilkerson, and this is Hacker Eyes. I would like to take the next few minutes to just kind of throw my perspective at the Facebook breach from last year. Apparently, in 2019, I believe it was August 2019, Facebook became aware that they had an issue with some of their data handling, and they were supposedly fixed it. Well, a few months later, earlier last year in 2020, that information was exposed online. This so-called data breach is not a breach. It's a poorly configured, poorly maintained, and irresponsibly handled situation by Facebook. No hacker went in there and beat this system into submission and took the information out. This is information that was available online by anyone who was able to look in the right place. And when you're talking 533 million records, you're talking what, 30-40% over the population of the United States, which I think is around 328.2 million. That's a lot of information. And yes, I know this wasn't all U.S. records. Most of it's supposed to be other countries, but I have not looked at the data set, though I could. I'm not interested in gathering anybody's personal information. Helping you protect it, yes, but not going in there and harvesting. See what I found. Anyway, so first point, the breach wasn't a breach. It was basically a backdoor invitation to come take a look at our stuff because we didn't do our jobs right. Facebook failed to handle their information. I program in multiple languages. There's absolutely no excuse whatsoever for biographical information, demographical information, geographical information, basically stuff that describes who you are, what you are, where you are, and all those types of categorized information. There's no reason to ever keep that stuff in a format or in a situation where people can get a hold of it. I have coded stuff for Facebook's API, and I'm going to tell you their API is horrible. It, like LinkedIn, is designed for them to keep your information and make everyone else beg for it. It is extremely difficult to design any kind of application for Facebook where you can go get publicly available personal information. Any kind of public information. As a user of Facebook, if you say, I want everyone to see this, I want this to be public, it should be public. There should not be a bunch of crazy stuff on Facebook. The company states their privacy policy, but I believe the best understanding of Facebook's privacy policy is the way they handle this situation. It's old news, it's old data, it doesn't matter. Well, that's their privacy policy. Forget what their website says. Their privacy policy is that's last year's information, so it really doesn't have any value now. So let me ask you this. How many of you have moved within the last year? How many of you have changed your phone number? How many of you have changed your name? Probably the majority of you, especially with this global situation going on, you haven't changed any of that. So that information is every bit as relevant right now as it was a year ago, despite what Facebook's trying to downplay it as. Now, we know it wasn't a breach. We know there was 533 million pieces of information. We've got a good idea of what was in it. So what do we do about it? There are websites. I'll see if I can find a few of them. I know one, Have I Been Pwned? We'll definitely get that in the description below. Go there, put your email address in. It'll tell you where it finds it in the dark web. Most of your credit card companies, trying to think, Credit Karma, all these kind of companies will watch for your information to trigger and then they're supposed to send you a notice. If you don't have this, check with your credit card companies, check with your credit bureaus, find out if you can sign up. More often than not, this stuff is free. And if it's not, find another company. Change your credit card company, because I know Discover does it for free. Let me think what else. Well, let's just put it away. There's plenty of them that do it for free. It protects their interests and it protects yours. And the reason this is all tied together, because that information so many people put into Facebook is the same exact information you need to verify who you are when you call somebody. Also, it's the same information that you can say, hey, so-and-so, a friend of yours that's being targeted. They could look at your information, find out an interest that you share with someone else, poses you, and send them an email or send them a request or an instant message or something else. Or clone your Facebook account and using your information. Don't even need to hack to do that. But the point is, this is significant. It is important because that information is now out there, combined with all the other information and all the other breaches, experience, etc., all these breaches. They cross-reference these things. They'll take an email address, and they'll take the email address and they'll hook it to this account and that account, that account. Then they take all the data they got and they put it all together in a long, just say a spreadsheet. And then they're able to combine everything from medical records, driving records, voting records, etc., because all that's available online. Don't believe me? Go to voterrecords. I believe it's .com. Voterrecords.com. Put in your name. If you're a registered voter, it'll tell you when you voted. It'll tell you all kind of stuff. It may not tell you specifically who you voted for, but it'll tell you how you vote, and it'll tell you where you live. It'll probably give up a gender, a date of birth, and a bunch of information. This is all public information. You don't need to hack for this or anything else. All this information is included in a dissertation I've been working on. I've about completed now. We'll talk about that in another video. But this is not an accident. This Facebook data leak, not a breach, it is a leak. Their systems were exposed by their own negligence. If I were you, I would do a self-audit on your Facebook account and start removing anything like high school. Okay, that's it. I'm going to do another video and I'm going to talk about the 105 items that make up personal information. That'll have to probably be a series because that's a lot of items. Hopefully by discussing these, we'll come up with a better way to handle these online accounts. Do not be at all swayed by anything that Facebook says. And this might be a novel thing. You don't have to have any information in Facebook. Just have your name and your picture, and even those can track you. But how about we get rid of all of our favorite music, and we get rid of all of our favorite books, and we get rid of our favorite foods, and we get rid of all the people that we're following, the famous people that we follow. How about we just start auditing our information down? This may not be what you were expecting. This is, again, my perspective. It's probably not what a lot of other people are going to say. I lay the blame for this completely at Facebook's feet. This is not a situation where some nefarious or malicious individual jumped in and did anything. They just simply walked in, didn't do anything special, grabbed the information, and a lot of it, and decided to share it on the dark web. And now we're hearing about it. It's supposed to have been fixed in 2019, people. We're in 2021. Main topic of the news, a year after it was breached. Leaked. Not breached, leaked. And to help you understand the difference, breached means they were a victim of some kind of malicious activity which violated their security systems. That is not what happened here. That's why it's a leak, which is a voluntary exposure because of their negligence. Their negligence in taking care of a known issue from 2019. They knew about it. They supposedly handled it. They discussed publicly that it had been handled and dealt with. And then in another thing, it'll say, well, this is information that's associated with that. Like, how many versions of our data do you have, Facebook? Really? I mean, how many versions do you have? How many data sets are you carrying? Why do you need data sets? That's what a query is for, from one data set. I'm not talking about not having backups. I will gladly demonstrate how to code in PHP. That's Facebook's thing, right? I can easily show you how to code in PHP and separating authentication credentials from personal data from activity on the website. You can completely separate all that information. And spoiler alert, make it all optional except for the login credentials. But that's enough for this video. I hope this helped. I hope this informed. I will get some links in below. If you've just found this channel, welcome to the channel. If you haven't yet, subscribe. Take advantage of our Patreon, our donation links below and all that stuff. Also, comment in the video what you think about this whole Facebook situation. Also comment in this video if there's anything you would like me to specifically demonstrate or show or discuss in these related areas, because I have a quite extensive, let's say, I've been exposed to a lot of information in this area. We'll catch you in the next time, in the next video.